Tory was stabbed 14 times, including 7 wounds to his back, 4 to his torso, 2 to the back of his head, and 1 to the left side of his face. Both of his lungs collapsed, and he was placed on a breathing apparatus.
Tory Lanez stabbed in prison. Was it a hit? Tory Lanez was just stabbed 14 times in prison, and the leaked hospital footage is graphic and spreading fast. But here's where it gets wild. The attack happened just days before his legal team was set to release new evidence in the Megan Thee Stallion case. This doesn't look random. It's starting to look like a hit. Let's break it down. According to a post from Tory's verified Instagram account, the artist suffered 14 stab wounds. To the back 4, to the torso 2, to the back of the head, 1 to the left side of his face. The attack was brutal, so bad that both his lungs collapsed, and he had to be placed on a breathing machine during emergency treatment. This wasn't just a scuffle. This was life or death. The stabbing happened around 7:20 a.m., just as inmates were starting their morning routine. COs responded quickly, giving Tory first aid on the spot before rushing him to an outside hospital. Honestly, if they hadn't acted as fast as they did, we might be telling a very different story right now. As soon as the news hit the streets, the big question became, who would go after Tory like this? And why? Inside sources are pointing to prison politics. Being a celebrity behind bars can work both ways. Sometimes it offers protection, other times it paints a massive target on your back. In this case, it may have been the latter. The alleged attacker? Santino Casio, a 41-year-old inmate serving life for murder and attempted murder charges. He's been locked up since 2004 after being transferred from LA County. After the stabbing, Casio was immediately thrown in solitary pending investigation, standard procedure for incidents this serious. But here's where the conspiracy theories start flying. The timing. Just days before the stabbing, news broke that Tory's legal team was preparing to release new evidence that could potentially prove his innocence in the Megan Thee Stallion shooting case. Sources close to Tory say that journalist Gianno Caldwell was working on an op-ed for the New York Post, shedding light on this new information. Could this evidence have been explosive enough to make someone want to silence Tory? It's starting to look like this wasn't just violence. It might have been strategy.
Recently, we've been made aware that a member of the media, Mr. Gianno Caldwell, is working on an op-ed for the New York Post regarding Mr. Peterson's innocence. During his work on that op-ed, he became aware of some information in Unite the People's possession regarding a statement that was given to Unite the People by someone with information relevant to that case.
Here's what happened after.
The New York Post recently reached out to the prior district attorney, George Gascon, Megan Pete and her representatives, and Kelsey Harris and her representatives. The only party that responded last week was Megan Pete's representatives with a request for more information. A few days later, Mr. Peterson's brutally attacked in his jail.
His statement had the internet going wild. People were connecting dots like crazy, and conspiracy theories started flying. A lot of folks are wondering if the attack and all the ongoing drama with the Megan Thee Stallion case might somehow be connected. Some of Tory's most loyal supporters are calling the timing super suspicious, especially since Megan's team reportedly reached out about the new evidence just before the stabbing happened. But let's be real, there's zero actual proof linking Megan to the prison incident. That's just Twitter detectives doing the most. Updates on Tory's condition have been all over the map. Early reports said his injuries weren't life-threatening, but that doesn't add up when you hear he had collapsed lungs and was stabbed 14 times. It's no surprise people are side-eyeing the official statements. Medical professionals have even started questioning the timeline. They're saying it doesn't make much sense that Tory could go from being on a ventilator with collapsed lungs to speaking normally in just a few hours. According to them, that kind of recovery sounds pretty unrealistic.
And that's what we know for sure.
And originally when the report came out, they said it was non-life-threatening injuries. That sounds different.
2 collapsed lungs does not sound like it's a walk in the park. It sounds pretty life.
The reason why they're saying that is like just allegedly a Mexican gang, and it was like a hit. They stabbed them up.
Social media has been buzzing with all kinds of theories about what really went down. One rumor that's been gaining serious traction is that the attack might be tied to prison gang politics. with some saying race may have played a role. Word on the street is that Tory was looking out for the black inmates, making sure they were well fed and protected. That kind of loyalty might have sparked tension with other groups on the yard.
And the rumors in the street are saying that because while Tory is in there, the black people around him, he's making sure that they eat, he's making sure that they're good. If you look at Tory wrong and all that, he's filling up everybody's, he's
Taking care of
inside the jail.
Being famous in prison comes with its own set of unique challenges. Celebrities often become targets for inmates looking to gain clout or build a reputation by going after someone well-known. In Tory's case, his conviction for shooting a female rapper may have made him an easy mark for those seeking to score points or carry out their own form of jailhouse justice. Prison operates under a completely different code. The rules of the outside world don't apply. Power, respect, and survival dominate the culture, and violence can erupt over even the smallest slight or show of dominance. The public's reaction to Tory's stabbing has been sharply divided, much like the entire Tory and Meghan saga since it began in 2020. While some fans and fellow artists are sending thoughts and prayers hoping for a quick recovery, others have no sympathy, pointing to karma and the idea of reaping what you sow. This split reflects a deeper societal conversation about justice, punishment, and forgiveness, one that becomes even more complex when fame is part of the equation.
For me, it's been about the conversation people are having about it.
It's disgusting.
I kind of don't like it. Let me be clear, I'm not a Tory Lanez fan. And I've obviously been very supportive of Meg and the whole situation. But what I find frustrating is the same people.
Are you a Meg music fan?
No. He's a Meg fan because she's a woman.
Some voices in the culture have been pushing back against those celebrating the recent attack on Tory Lanez, calling out the hypocrisy. They're pointing out that it's contradictory to demand justice for Megan Thee Stallion while also cheering on violence against Tory. The message? Once the legal system has run its course and delivered a sentence, rooting for extra street justice crosses a line. It's about distinguishing the need for accountability from the desire to see someone harmed, no matter how you feel about their actions. As for the attack on Tory Lanez behind bars, the details are still unclear. Authorities are investigating whether it was a targeted hit or just another violent outburst inside. The motive remains unknown. What's certain is that it's yet another chapter in a long, messy saga. From the 2020 shooting involving Megan Thee Stallion to Tory Lanez's conviction and now this prison incident, the drama hasn't let up. It's a story where fame, violence, the legal system, and non-stop social media commentary all collide. And with each twist, things get even more complicated. To really understand why this latest development has people talking, we need to rewind to the beginning, the tangled history between Tory Lanez and Megan Thee Stallion. It all started on July 12, 2020. Tory Lanez and Megan Thee Stallion, real name Megan Pete, were partying at Kylie Jenner's house in Los Angeles. What should have been just another night of celebrity partying turned into one of hip-hop's biggest scandals in recent memory. According to court testimony and public statements, an argument broke out between Tory and Megan during a car ride. After the party, the exact cause is still debated. Megan testified that Tory got upset after she criticized his rap skills, and things escalated from there. The situation turned violent when Megan was shot in both feet. At first, reports claimed she was injured by broken glass, but she later revealed the truth. She had been shot. The revelation sent shockwaves through the industry and kicked off a wave of confusion and speculation. What followed was a firestorm of back and forth. Tory dropped an album, Daystar, in September 2020, denying he shot Megan and claiming he was being framed. Meanwhile, there were allegations that he tried to offer hush money to Megan and her friend to stay quiet. The case eventually went to trial in December 2022, drawing massive public attention. Megan testified in court, detailing the shooting and the backlash she faced afterward, including death threats online. Witnesses included a neighbor who claimed to have seen the shooting happen. After deliberation, the jury found Tory Lanez guilty on 3 felony charges: assault with a semi-automatic firearm, possession of a concealed, unregistered firearm, negligent discharge of a firearm. On August 8, 2023, he was sentenced to 10 years in prison. During the sentencing, prosecutors accused him of trying to sway public opinion through social media and misinformation. Despite getting over 70 support letters, including one from Iggy Azalea, the judge didn't budge. signaling just how seriously the court took the charges. Throughout it all, the case became a lightning rod for bigger conversations about violence against women, how female artists are treated in hip-hop, and how race plays into the justice system. The public was deeply divided, with social media erupting into endless debates between Dusar's Team Tory and Dusar's Team Megan. Tory has continued to maintain his innocence, refusing to apologize despite being convicted. Now, with this latest prison incident, the story continues, and the controversy rages on.
Let's get into this. I want to get into this because it's very important for me to just say this. I'm not here to bash this woman. I'm not here to come down on this woman. I'm not here to disrespect her or throw her under the bus, but it comes to a certain standpoint where I just can't let my character be assassinated for things that are not even really true, like and for falsified narratives and information.
His legal team continued to fight the verdict, most recently attempting to secure a pardon from California Governor Gavin Newsom. Just before the May 2025 stabbing incident, reports began to surface that Lanez's team was preparing to release new evidence they claimed would prove he wasn't the shooter. This is when an alternative narrative began to gain traction. According to statements allegedly made by the driver who was in the vehicle that night, the shooting may have occurred during a physical altercation between Megan and her friend, Kelsey Harris, with Tory attempting to break it up. This version contradicts Megan's testimony, but supports what the defense argued during the trial, that someone else may have pulled the trigger. Adding more fuel to the conspiracy theories is the fact that Kelsey Harris requested immunity before testifying. And when she finally took the stand, she claimed she couldn't recall much about what happened that night. This left Tory supporters questioning why she needed immunity if she had done nothing wrong, suggesting there may be more to the story than what was revealed in court.
If you look at the steps that it took, remember Kelsey asked for immunity. That should have said something. You know, everybody breezed past it to look at Tory, but that should have said, like, why? And it said something to some of us, like, why she asked for that
Not
in
only
the
did
beginning.
she ask for immunity, then got on the stand and said, I don't remember anything.
So this just make it look a little bit different.
Let's keep it all the way honest. While alternative narratives about the case have picked up traction on social media, they directly contradict what was decided in court. After reviewing all the evidence, the legal system found Tory Lanez guilty of the shooting beyond a reasonable doubt. That verdict still stands, even if Twitter continues to dissect every piece of the story. In October 2024, social media lit up with claims that an LA court had found Lanez innocent and was reopening the case. But those reports were mostly misinformation, based on a misunderstanding of legal procedures. What actually happened was the filing of a writ of habeas corpus, a routine legal motion used to challenge a conviction. After all standard appeals have been exhausted, it wasn't a reversal of his conviction, but many fans misread it as proof that Tory was on his way to being cleared. The nature of Tory and Megan's relationship before the shooting has also sparked heavy discussion. At first, they were seen as just friends and collaborators in the industry. But over time, rumors suggested it was something deeper. During an interview with Gayle King, Megan denied being in a relationship with Tory, though that claim seemed to clash with other accounts from that night indicating they were romantically involved.
What I'm saying is that if you lied about having sex with somebody, you can lie about anything. You lied in front of Gayle, you can't say, oh, I understand why she would lie about that. You went up there to garner sympathy and to, for whatever reason, it looked like, but if you lied about him, you capable of lying about anything.
Tory Lanez's critics quickly seized on the contradiction in Megan Thee Stallion's statements as evidence that she might not have been entirely truthful about other parts of her story. They argued that if she had misrepresented the nature of their relationship, her account of the shooting could also be unreliable. While this perspective swayed some, it didn't account for the physical evidence and witness testimonies that supported the prosecution's case. The trial also put a spotlight on how quickly allegiances in hip-hop can shift when controversy strikes. Several artists who had previously collaborated with either Tory or Megan found themselves forced to take sides. Kalani and JoJo pulled their features from Tory's music following the allegations, while Drake raised eyebrows with lyrics that appeared to question Megan's version of events. Meanwhile, DaBaby, who had worked with both artists, performed with Tory at Rolling Loud in July 2021, an appearance that may have violated a court order requiring Tory to stay at least 100 yards away from Megan. These moves reflected how divided the hip-hop industry and its fan base became. The discourse exposed deeper tensions around gender, power, and accountability within the culture. For many, Megan represented a survivor whose story was being doubted in a way that mirrors what often happens when women speak out about abuse. For others, Tory symbolized someone prematurely canceled without a fair hearing. The truth likely lies somewhere between these extremes. But what's clear is that the events of July 12, 2020 sparked a chain reaction that continues to affect everyone involved and the wider cultural conversation. The recent prison stabbing only added a dramatic new chapter to an already complicated saga. Whether connected to the original case or not, the incident has reignited old debates about the shooting, the trial, and the conflicting narratives that have circulated ever since. In many ways, the attack is a violent symbol of the deeper tensions that have always surrounded this story. As we try to make sense of what this latest development means, it's important to consider how it fits into Tory's overall downfall. Once a rising star with 7 US top 10 albums in 7 years, his career and freedom were derailed by what happened that summer night in 2020. Now serving time, Tory faces not just legal consequences, but real-life danger behind bars. The violence he recently experienced underscores that this situation has moved far beyond internet drama and courtroom battles. It's a matter of survival. As news of Tory's stabbing spreads across social media and headlines, the public is watching closely for updates. According to reports from May 13th and 14th, 2025, he's now breathing on his own and communicating despite suffering 14 stab wounds. Prison officials have labeled his condition as fair, suggesting he's stabilized after a critical emergency. Still, recovery won't be easy. With collapsed lungs and stab wounds across his body, Tory has a long and painful road ahead. Some medical experts, not directly involved in his care, have raised questions about the reported speed of his recovery, especially the leap from needing breathing assistance to allegedly speaking normally so soon after both lungs collapsed. Whether the timeline is accurate or not, one thing is certain. The physical and emotional scars from this ordeal will linger. The drama that began in 2020 has only grown more intense and more real.
I've been stabbed before. As far as having 2 collapsed lungs, and then speaking an hour later.
Yeah, it's different.
That sounds, yeah.
That's
Beyond the physical recovery, the recent prison attack on Tory Lanez raises serious legal and safety questions. Some legal experts believe this level of violence could impact his incarceration status, possibly prompting a transfer to a more secure facility or even placing him in protective custody. While violence is unfortunately common in prison, such a brutal assault on a high-profile inmate highlights real concerns about whether the system can keep him safe. Tory's legal team responded quickly, using the stabbing to reinforce their narrative. They've suggested the timing is suspicious, coming just after they claim to have uncovered new evidence in the Megan Thee Stallion case. Though there's no concrete proof of a connection, this theory has gained traction among Tory's loyal fans, who see it as further evidence of a conspiracy. Surprisingly, even behind bars and now recovering from an attack, Tory hasn't stepped away from his music. Before the stabbing, he teased a new album, Peterson, on Instagram, continuing to create despite his situation. This mirrors his response after the initial shooting incident, when he dropped Daystar to address the allegations head-on. Megan Thee Stallion has remained silent following news of the attack, and that silence makes sense. With the history and legal battles between them, anything she says would be dissected and possibly misinterpreted. In her case, silence might truly be the smartest choice. Looking ahead, many questions remain unanswered. The motive behind the stabbing, allegedly carried out by inmate Santino Casio, is still unclear. Was this random prison violence, a gang-related conflict, or something more orchestrated? The official investigation is ongoing, with prison staff reviewing footage and interviewing witnesses. Legally, Tory's team continues to challenge his conviction. They've pointed to so-called new evidence, but nothing has been formally acknowledged by the courts. In October 2024, social media blew up with rumors that he'd been declared innocent and that the case was reopening. In reality, those reports misunderstood a writ of habeas corpus, a standard legal move to review past trial procedures, not a declaration of innocence. This distinction matters. Tory has not been exonerated. He's initiated a legal process that questions whether his original trial followed due process. Public perception of Tory Lanez is also shifting. For some, this violent incident reinforces sympathy, painting him as a victim of both a flawed legal system and now prison violence. For others, it's viewed separately. Tragic, yes, but unrelated to the shooting case that led to his conviction. His medical care during recovery could also play a role in his legal future. If his injuries result in long-term complications, it could open the door to lawsuits against the prison or even requests for compassionate release, depending on his condition. Meanwhile, the investigation presses on. The outcome could impact not only Tory and his alleged attacker, but also prison policies around housing high-profile inmates. Ironically, this incident might also reignite interest in Tory's music career. The buzz surrounding the attack could translate into more attention for Peterson when it drops. But profiting off such a tragic event comes with ethical questions. As for Megan Thee Stallion, the renewed focus on the shooting likely reopens emotional wounds. She's spoken in the past about the psychological toll of the shooting and the intense public scrutiny that followed. Her silence now may reflect a desire to maintain peace and protect her mental health. As this story unfolds, it forces us to reflect on bigger questions. Do we value facts or just follow the most compelling narrative? Can we hold people accountable while still recognizing their humanity? And how do we balance justice, safety, and compassion? There are no easy answers, but they're worth thinking about. For now, Tory is reportedly focused on healing. According to his Instagram, despite the pain, he's in good spirits and grateful to be alive. Whether this optimism holds true remains to be seen, but it aligns with the resilience he's shown throughout this controversial chapter of his life. In the coming weeks and months, as he recovers and his legal journey continues, the conversation will undoubtedly evolve. New information might clarify things, or make them even more complex. Either way, this incident is a sobering reminder that the consequences of fame, violence, and justice go far beyond social media debates. They affect real lives in real, often tragic ways, and that's a wrap. If you found this video insightful, check out the ones on your screen now. Thanks for watching, and until next time, stay informed.